Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Professor Hall. We are in week 10 of our Lost Generation class, and we are moving into Module 5, which is a 2-week module on Men Without Women by Ernest Hemingway. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, finally, Professor Hall, I've only been waiting for Ernest Hemingway since week 1. You talked about him in your opening lectures, and then we never read anything about him. Yeah. It's intentional, I guess. Why save him until now? Well, a couple things. I think I have tried a little bit to not have to mix up when we had the short stories and when we had the novels, so that you wouldn't have long book after long book after long book, and you could break it up with a little bit of short stories in and here and there. So I thought about having Hemingway in Module 2, but Winesburg, Ohio by Sherwood Anderson, in my opinion, is really like a transitional book between the realism movement of the past and then modernism that the Lost Generations writers are a part of. Anderson also is a little bit older. And then I wanted to kind of present a couple of books looking at F. Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald in their life and their kind of exemplification of like the flapper and the jazz age and all of that. But Ernest Hemingway's book, really, now we can have some short stories now that we've had a very long novel. Hemingway's book was both critically acclaimed and beloved by the public. He's thought to be one of the best American writers, and I don't know whether or not you will agree. I think it's interesting because I really appreciate the artistry. He's not my favorite. Also, why I don't have a whole class just of Hemingway, and why we didn't maybe start with him. But I do think that I appreciate what he's doing in these stories. I think that they're very interesting stories. I think they move along. I think that some of them feel like they could have been written today. And so all of that kind of thing. Please, I did put this in the note, but please watch my lecture first. You also have a short documentary about the author's life, and certainly many of the stories are kind of inspired by things that he saw or went through, as many of our other writers of this time period were doing, mixing biography with fact. But the lecture really goes into a lot about his style, in particular, the structure of the stories, and then the major themes. And so because of that, I think it is really helpful to watch that first, and then this great documentary that was done by his estate, or at least in conjunction with his estate, and his granddaughter Mariel helps to narrate different parts and tells you about her grandfather and his life and work and all of that. So you can watch that this week or next week, depending on when you have the time, but definitely make sure to get my lecture in first. We do have a discussion forum, so please make sure, as always, a lot of people always forget to comment, or they just do things at the last minute. So my recommendation is the reading is, I think, moves along quickly. There is a bit of it, but not quite as much as our past couple of weeks. So if you can, try to post by Thursday, and then you can have until Sunday to comment on the posts of other people, and make sure also that you have substantial posts, not just yes, I agree or no, I don't agree, but actual thoughts and some depth of thought in there as well. So that is it for this week. I can't wait to see what you say in the discussion forums, and I hope you enjoy the book.